That's the type of representative we need. You understand? Cory Booker, he put a lot on the line by doing that. And I'm looking for you all to call in. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about this. Because for too long we have representatives that do not have our best interests at heart. This is very, very serious business. We're talking about the appointment of a Supreme Court justice. Very serious business. Call in 301 429 9247. 301 429 9247. And let's just deal with something. So Cory is saying, Mr. Cory Booker is saying that there is no Senate rule, right? Now you gotta understand what he's saying. He's telling them straight out. If you think that I did something wrong, if you think I did something wrong, bring it. Okay? Bring it out. Let's deal with it the way that we're supposed to deal with it. So he says there's no Senate rule to stop him from doing what he did. It's not it's not like it's a threat to national security. You know, he may have violated the chairman's rule, and I think that's where he was getting to. I think he was getting to the point where he was saying, I did not violate a Senate rule. He may have violated a chairman's rule by revealing the documents. What do you all think about that? That'd be two Trump appointees. Two. God. My God. Two appointees by Donald Trump. You all have to understand how important it is to get out and vote. You have to. You can't just sit and wait for voting only when we're voting for the presidents. You have to get out in midterm elections and you have to vote. If I don't tell you nothing else, if you don't believe nothing else that I'm telling you, it is very important that you get out and vote in midterm elections. Do not sit at home and think that everything is going to come out okay if you don't go in and vote. I promise you, your vote count. I mean, if you just look at what happened with Donald Trump, I believe Donald Trump got in office because we didn't get out and vote. To be quite frank, we didn't get out and vote. Here's a man in Kavanaugh. And see, this is another thing you have to understand what Mr. Booker was trying to do. President Trump wants people that are loyal to him. Okay? He's not concerned about people who are loyal to the Constitution of the United States of America. He wants those people around him that are loyal to him. This is serious business. Very serious business. We cannot sit around and just let this go without voting. Okay? Call in 301 429 9247. I just can't stress it enough, man. Like I just try, I get out here and I just try to get us to vote and vote and vote and try to get us involved in the process. Get us involved in the whole political process as we know. And I understand because I was one of the guys that was like, man, the heck with voting. But as you get out here and do the work and you're in these meetings and you're watching what's going on, if we don't stand up and if we don't vote, some things are going to take place in our country. And we're not talking about things that just going to happen, one time and that's it. The Supreme Court, working families, you have to understand, unions, you have to understand the Supreme court is the law of the land. Okay? It's the law of the land. If we don't get involved, we're setting ourselves up. And here's the thing about this. So we have midterms. I'm going to tell you how important this is about voting your legislators, and even on your state level. I'm going to tell you how important it is. Because Congress sets the laws. Okay? Even on a local level, your legislators set the laws that the president have to go by. Your governor have to go by. Right? Your mayor have to go by. So to me, you have to get involved in the process to make sure that you are voting people into office that shares your thoughts, shares your point of views. Or if you don't vote and we get people in office that share views that are against what we believe in, then we have to suffer the consequences for not partaking in our political process. Right? It's very important that we get out and vote. Please understand that we have local elections coming up. I want you to get out and vote. We're getting ready to come up on our commercial hour. I want you to chime in. Make sure you call in. Station number is 301-429-9247. 301-429-9247. Let's go into commercial break.
In January, children froze in their classrooms across Maryland. I'm Ben Jealous. Under Larry Hogan, our schools lack more than heat. They lack funding to protect and educate. As governor, I will fully fund education so our teachers are trained well and paid better. I'll ensure the casino money is spent to improve classrooms. I'm endorsed by Maryland's teachers because every classroom needs heat and a high-quality teacher.
So it's kind of obvious what you enjoy here, because you are from head to toe in Pepsi, and then you have your little buddy down there too. Look at that guy. Yeah.
There's one in the car too.
Wow.
I love Pepsi.
We're having a ball down here at Graffiti Alley, doing it up with Melissa. Check it out.
My machine kiosk.
Right.
Run the bill.
Alright. It's your boy Epic Photos here. Just showing you a little bit of what we're doing today. Pictures coming soon.
Ben Jealous. His mother was raised in a Baltimore housing project and left Maryland because her interracial marriage was illegal. He was a Rhodes Scholar who became the youngest national president of the NAACP, which he led to an era of unprecedented growth. Ben Jealous, community organizer, civil rights leader, job-creating investor. Named Marylander of the Year for his role in ending the death penalty, passing marriage equality, and the DREAM Act.
I'm Ben Jealous. I'm running for governor to make sure public school teachers are trained well and paid better, to end mass incarceration and police killings of unarmed civilians, to build a robust, inclusive, and sustainable economy powered by clean energy. I'm the only candidate with a plan for Medicare for all. That means real health care every Marylander can afford. As governor, I'll confront Trump when he attacks our values. I've spent my life overcoming challenges most thought impossible. Maryland, it's time for bold victories and new leadership. In January, children froze in their classrooms across Maryland. I'm Ben Jealous. Under Larry Hogan, our schools lack more than heat. They lack funding to protect and educate. As governor, I will fully fund education so our teachers are trained well and paid better. I'll ensure the casino money is spent to improve classrooms. I'm endorsed by Maryland's teachers because every classroom needs heat and a high-quality teacher.
Ben Jealous. His mother was raised in a Baltimore housing project and left Maryland because her interracial marriage was illegal. He was a Rhodes Scholar who became the youngest national president of the NAACP, which he led to an era of unprecedented growth. Ben Jealous, community organizer, civil rights leader, job-creating investor. Named Marylander of the Year for his role in ending the death penalty, passing marriage equality, and the DREAM Act.
I'm Ben Jealous. I'm running for governor to make sure public school teachers are trained well and paid better, to end mass incarceration and police killings of unarmed civilians, to build a robust, inclusive, and sustainable economy powered by clean energy. I'm the only candidate with a plan for Medicare for all. That means real health care every Marylander can afford. As governor, I'll confront Trump when he attacks our values. I've spent my life overcoming challenges most thought impossible. Maryland, it's time for bold victories and new leadership.
And we are back. We are back plugged in with Joseph. I want to go back a second. I want to go back talking about the local elections because I think that we really have to understand our local elections. And when I speak of local elections, I'm talking about your county executives, right? I'm talking about your judges. I don't know if many of you understand that we elect our judges. Here in Prince George's County, Maryland, the November election, you will have judges that are coming up for election. So you have children that are being charged as adults. They're being overcharged. They're being sentenced to hundreds of years, right? Those judges have to answer to us. Okay? There's a big issue going on with my juvenile lifers that I'm deeply involved with. I just don't believe that we should be throwing away our youth offenders. Now, let me be clear about something. I'm not saying in no shape, form, or fashion that as a youth offender, which I am or was, I'm not saying that I should not pay for my crime. But I think that in decency, right? And the most humane thing to do is to apply justice with compassion. Okay? So what am I talking about? We have youth 15, 16, 17 years old, and I'm going to say commit some crimes, right? Some crimes are murder. Most of them are, violent crimes to be charged as an adult. We have to take all of the circumstances into account when dealing with our youthful offenders, right? Instead of making this a political thing, whereas we say, well, whoever did it, we're going to punish them. We're going to punish them to the fullest extent of the law. We should take everything in consideration. So here in the state of Maryland, we have a governor who is in charge of the parole process for the lifers in the state of Maryland. I just want to be clear about some things. You have brothers that go to jail at 15 and 16 years old, right? Some brothers take pleas to life with the possibility of being paroled one day. Okay? Life with the possibility of parole. But you have to go through the process of the governor signing the parole paperwork, or you would not be paroled. I'm trying to take my time because this is something that me and my producer we are deeply involved with, right? Because my best friend is a lifer. And we can't just lock our youth up for the rest of their life. We can't do this. We can't do this. So I'll say this. Having to be in prison with a lot of juvenile lifers, right? I can say that these were children, man. You know? Whatever the situation is, whatever the circumstance was, these were children that made some bad decisions that we know that if they were adults, they would not have made these decisions. And it comes back to the whole election and the voting privilege, because we vote people into office, right? We vote the governor into office. We got a governor's race that's coming up. We have Governor Hogan, who refuses to sign any life or parole papers that comes to his desk, which is circumventing the whole parole process. Because if the parole board says that I want to parole this guy, the governor turns around and says, nah, I'm not paroling no lifers. This is not justice. This isn't fair. Young kid, 15, 16 years old, take a plea thinking that one day he's going to come back out into society, and then he don't get a chance to come back out into society because we're playing politics with parole, right? So we have to get involved in the parole process. We elect our state's attorneys, our clerk of the circuit courts. We elect them. Coming up in November, we elect them. I got coming up, we're going to talk about voting rights for felons. There's a lot of misconceptions going on in the state of Maryland as to our voting rights. And if you don't know, I am a convicted felon. I am a 2-time convicted felon. And I did vote in the last election, and I voted in the primaries. And it's very important that all of my brothers and sisters in the state of Maryland understand that if your feet is walking on this free earth in the state of Maryland, you are a resident of the state of Maryland, that you can go and vote. You have to go and register, and then you can participate in the upcoming election in November and vote. I'm not going to just tell you something just to tell you. I believe that the 40 to 50,000 returning citizens in the state of Maryland has enough voting power. Did you hear what I said? 40. I'm sure it's more than just 40 to 50,000 voters, returning citizens, have enough voting power that if we come together and stand together, we can make a very big difference in the state of Maryland. let's get ready to roll. Let's get ready to cue up the legislators' video of Larry Hogan. Larry Hogan being his veto being overridden by the legislators. Let's roll that.
I'm 55 years old 3 Saturdays ago, and I've never, ever in my entire life been in a voting booth. Due to my criminal background, due to the law, and this might sound funny to you, but when I was growing up, they used to ask us, what do you want to be when you grow up? I wanted to be president. I wanted to be the first African-American president. The timing of our newly enfranchisement, is perfect. We're going to swing this election.
When I think about the ex-offender community is that they could actually, as a voting bloc, be one of the single largest voting blocs in the city, forcing change around issues important to them.
Voting gives me the ability to decide how money is spent in my city and state.
Can I get all candidates in the building to come up front?
What y'all gonna do about people who ain't been in no trouble in 7 years, and every time I go get a job, they go back to when I was 20. I'm 52.
Let's erase the barrier of ex-felon and make sure that people have access to the jobs and the opportunities.
Okay, what are we going to do about housing for ex-offenders that come out of prison and have nowhere to go?
You're supposedly involved in a lot of programs geared towards helping ex-felons. If you do not become mayor, will you still be involved in these programs to help the people?
Voting gives you the ability to hire and fire individuals who are not doing their job.
Why being able to vote to me means so much is it's allowing me now to get one step closer to actually feeling normal. And it matters. Not actually having the right to tell you how I feel or why I'm supporting somebody or why I'm choosing not to vote for somebody else just makes me feel less than. So now that I'm able to, I feel that I'm contributing.
We went around, we educated the public. We put up signs all over the community telling everybody that ex-felons could now vote. These people want to be engaged. These people want to get in the process. They're happy to have the right to vote and looking forward for a chance to exercise it. It's a beautiful thing.
We're going to vote. That's what we're going to do. We're going to vote. We're on our way. I'm excited. Never been before, so it holds a lot of anxiety, newness, nervousness, and excitement.
Communities United has registered over 1,000 voters in basically a little less than a 2-week period. It's big. It's big.
I voted for the first time. I feel accomplished. I'm gonna vote every opportunity I get. In November of 2016 is my next time voting.
Getting to go in there, feeling like everybody else, knowing that I did something to participate in a process that's gonna matter, not only in my life, but in this community, is empowering.
Welcome back, and we are here with our last segment. I want you all to call in and let's talk about felons voting. Do you think it's a good idea? Do you think it was a bad idea? Let's talk about felons voting in the state of Maryland. Call in at 301-429-9247. 301-429-9247. I'm gonna say for myself, it was very important for me to vote. Many of you know I am I am involved in the politics of what's going on in Prince George's County, what's going on across the state. And without me having the right to vote, just imagine, like, if I didn't have the right to vote, pretty much I'll be standing up and talking for nothing. And you have to understand that just because you're a felon, and we have to be clear about this, it does not mean that you cannot run for elected office. Okay? You can run for elected office. Get out, make yourself vocal. If something is going on, you have to get out and get involved. Okay? It's very important that we understand in the state of Maryland. If you just watch the commercials that were on, okay, our legislators, they fought for felons to have the right to vote in the state of Maryland. Well, your good old governor, Mr. Hogan, vetoed the bill. And so it took our legislators to override Hogan's veto. Here is my thing. When we are sentenced, when we stand before the judge, and the judge says, Mr. Tolbert, I sentence you to 20 years in prison. You have to understand that the sentence that I was given was my punishment. Okay? The sentence I was given was my punishment. It's not fair for a man or woman, a person, to do their time, then come home, pay taxes, yet have no voice in what is going on in their county or their city. That's not fair. So I want to be clear to all of my felons out there, or all of my returning citizens. See, we like to play games with words in politics, you know. Don't say felon. Well, hell, when I go to apply for a job, it say felon. It don't say returning citizens on there, right? So for all of my felons here in the state of Maryland, in particular in Prince George's County, I'm telling you that you can vote. You just saw the video, you just saw the commercials. You can vote. You go to your local board of elections, you sign up to vote, and you participate. Okay? Let me take a call. I got a call on line 1.
Hello, I was hoping to be transferred to Joseph Tolbert's show.
This is Joseph. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how are you? This is Veronica.
How you doing, Veronica?
I'm well, thank you for asking. How are you?
I'm fine. And what would you like to say today?
So I wasn't able to listen to the show in its entirety, but the primary reason you're conducting your show tonight is to talk about the importance of voting, correct?
For felons, yes. Well, the show, no, we had other topics, but right now we're talking about felons' voting rights in Maryland.
Okay, so the importance of voting in Maryland. I guess I have a question / concern, and I want you to just touch on it a little bit.
Okay.
My concern as a person voting in the state of Maryland is that the climate of politics right now, currently, from what I see on the news, some things I hear in the paper, it just seems like it's a lot of, for lack of better terms, mess going on in the world. We have a president that, seemingly got into the White House with corrupt affairs. However, he's not being penalized or punished or impeached. So I feel as though in my head, politics trickle down. You have the president, you have Congress, you have Senate, and then you have state level laws. What would be my incentive or motive for voting on a state level if it seems as though it won't affect real change because of who's in the White House?
So that's a great question. So one thing we have to understand is we have two tiers of government. You have your federal level, which encompasses the whole United States, and then you have your local elections. So voting in your local elections is what would directly impact you. We're talking about the judges in your county. We're talking about the county council members. We're talking about the county executive. To me, those things directly affect you and I. The president, that's on a national scale. Those are federal issues that may trickle down to us. But I think that voting locally is as important, if not more important, than voting for the president. We're talking about who controls your local taxes. We're talking about who's prosecuting your babies. We're talking about who's letting your babies go. We're talking about property taxes. You know, we're talking about all those things that directly affect our day-to-day living. So it is very important that we get out and vote locally.
Okay, I can see that. Like I said, it's just, I guess, troublesome and don't feel as encouraged with, like I said, the mess and the craziness that's going on in politics. But I understand.
So here's another thing. Real quick to think about. So we send our elected officials to Congress, right? Congress creates the laws that the president has to follow, right? So it's very important that we elect those congresspersons that think like you and I think. So that's why it's just important for us to stay involved. We have to stay involved. Don't feel like your vote don't count and don't get discouraged. Just hang in there. We only got 2 more years of this joke, and then we can get somebody else up in there. All right.
Okay.
But thank you for calling, Miss Veronica.
Thank you, Joseph. Have a good show. Thank you so much for being informative.
You too. Thank you.
You're welcome. Bye.
Now, I saw you call, Latasha, so you can call back, because I did see you call. Okay. Let me take this call. Hello. Welcome to the show.
Tolbert.
How are you doing, Latasha?
Fine, and you?
All right. And what do you have to say for me today?
I just want to say, for the last caller, that everybody needs to understand, yes, the climate and the mess that's going on right now is ridiculous. But the mess that's going on right now is a direct result of someone feeling that their vote would not make a difference. A whole bunch of someone feeling that their vote did not make a difference. So it doesn't matter whether or not this is a midterm election or the regular elections. We need to treat voting like a sport. We need to practice, and we need to get out, and we need to take action. Because when we don't take action, we end up with a mess, with a president that's in the White House doing the things that he's doing right now, spending more time on Twitter than he's spending on this country. So I understand that people can get discouraged, but the whole thing is that if you don't take the action, the results are worse. And my mother always told me, if you don't ask the question, the answer is always no. That's the same thing that goes on when you decide to not go out there and vote and use your voice, especially when people do it collectively in numbers because they think it won't make a difference. You got to use the process, and that's all I got to say. Great job, great show.
Thank you so much, Tosh. Thank you for calling. You know that she summed it up. She summed it up like, we have to get involved. Don't be discouraged. Get out and vote. She summed it up. Don't think that your votes don't count, because while we're thinking our votes don't count, the other side knows that their votes count, and they're going to the polls. All right, so let's get out and vote. Vote democratically. Vote for Ben Jealous. Vote the whole Democratic ticket. All right, we're gonna wrap this show up. I thank everybody for tuning in. Next week, join me as I will be having Bruce Johnson. He's running for State's Attorney of Prince George's County. I'm looking for an exciting show. Thank you all for tuning in.